Right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, Ba'ashem, YAHAWASHI, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, GMS who taught me this truth. And honors to all the Akim out there that's pushing out this truth with all sincerity and faith. And to Wadi Yahawah, Ba'ashem YAHAWASHI for allowing me to come back with another lesson. And peace and blessings, as always, goes into the Heavenly Father's elect, the true believers and the true worshippers upon Yahawah, Ba'ashem YAHAWASHI. And I just wanted to come back with another lesson. And this lesson is going to be based off of a conversation in which I had with this individual that comes into my work, so-called white person, Edomite. And he's I'll just get right into it. He probably just got off of work, whatever. He's getting his, his beer, his alcohol, whatever, whatnot. And, he comes up and he's like, hey man, guess what I just got? I'm just like, hey, what'd you get? And he said, I just got this piece of land. I got this land, 15, 20 acres. I just paid for it. I'm going to fix it up and make it look nice and, build fences around it and whatnot. And, he said, I'm going to build fences around it. And he said, and this is exactly what he's telling me, just out of nowhere. He's all like, he said, oh, that's where I'm going to go when things start to go to shit. He said, that's where I'm going to go when things start to get all, crazy, when all hell breaks loose. and I was just curious at the time, so I just asked him a quick question. I was just like, how long you think you're going to last out there? I said, how long you think you can survive, out there, And he said, this is literally what he said. He said, oh, I'm going to be there with my friends and my family. We gonna last forever. And I'm like, all right, man, sounds cool. Hey man, good for you, whatever, I'll just, just playing around with him, just, be like, yeah, whatever, But the first precept that came to my mind when he said those words was the book of Obadiah, the first chapter. And I'm going to start off there through the Spirit. This is Obadiah 1:1. It said, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahawah, concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador said among the heathen, arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rock. And that's right. And that's the exact same thing that came to my mind. His heart, the way he thinks, all right, is going to deceive him in that day. When all hell breaks loose, that plan of his is not going to go too well, especially if he's going to have his family and friends there like that, because the scriptures talk about how the love of many is going to wax cold, I'm going to grab that as well. Let me just finish this precept. It says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that was his exact his mannerism, the way he was talking, his attitude. That's exactly how it was. Hey man, we're gonna last forever, man. Ain't nobody gonna mess with us. Going into detail of what he said, really, he said, yeah, nobody's gonna mess with us. We're gonna be good forever, man. We're gonna have my family and my friends there. We're gonna have our guns, and ain't nobody gonna mess with us. That's exactly what he was saying. And this was the precept that came to my mind. The pride of his heart is going to deceive him. All right, and he's saying in his mind, in his heart, that who's going to bring me down? Ain't nobody going to mess with me. But the Most High, he will bring him down eventually. When that time comes and he thinks that he's going to be all set and good, the Most High, he's going to send, troubles headed his way. When the martial law troops are going to come in and invade. Even other people who might need, supplies and things in that day, when things are very short, That's not gonna go too well for him, and especially, and not only just other people that don't even know him, but even in his own family and his friends. That is going to be a problem for him, because as I was saying in the book of Matthew, it talks about how the love of many shall wax cold. And matter of fact, before I grab this one, let me grab this one in the book of Mark, the 13th chapter. And really, when you read this whole chapter, it's really how it's talking about YAHAWASHI. He's pretty much just foretelling the future destruction that's going to come upon this place. But let me read this one as well before I grab that in Matthew. Let me read this in the book of Mark 13 and 12. And it says, "And now the brother shall betray the brother to death." You see, so there's going to come a time where, there might not be that much food. There might not be that much, water. There might not be much supplies in that day. And if he has any brothers or a friend, someone who he's known since he was a child that he considers a brother, well, this is what's going to happen. It says, "Now the brother shall betray the brother to death." So you're going to have siblings turning on each other. All right, friends fighting as enemies, And it says, "The brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father the son." And if he has any children, any sons, any daughters, he might kill them as well. Because these are the things of which is going to come upon this place. It says the father, and it says, "And the father, the son, and the children shall rise up against their parents, and shall cause them to be put to death." You see? So you're going to have family members going against family members, man. Even people who aren't really blood related, them who you consider family, going to rise up against you as well. The father's going to turn against the son, the mother to the daughter. Okay, the children to the parents, the cousins, the aunts and uncles, the grandmas and grandpas, and that day will be, there won't be that much love or any at all in that day. That love that which they have for one another is gonna wax cold for the lack of the bread, the lack of food, or the lack of bread, water, and for all the distress that's going to come upon them in that day, So let me go back here in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 10. And it says, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. You see? So there's going to come a point in time where these people who you've been cool with, these people who, the people of this world who they're cool with, they might have been next door neighbors with this person for 20, 30 years. They always been there for each other, giving each other rides, giving each other, money when they needed it, whatever the case may be in that day. That's all going to change. The things that which you would do, for a person, you're not going to do that for them. These people are going to betray one another. They're going to hate one another. They're going to see what one has and see their condition, and see that they don't have what they have. And they're going to go over and spoil their goods. They're going to rise up against their neighbor. They're going to rise up against their neighbor, kill their neighbor and spoil all their goods and everything and anything that they have that person doesn't have, and this is soon to come, man. This is soon to come. All right. Now I just want to look up, let me see what this word betray. All right. I just want to see what pops up real quick. Betray. And it says, let me see. And it says, expose one's country, a group, or a person to danger by treacherous giving information to an enemy. It says, break one's promise to, be disloyal to, be unfaithful to, break faith with, play someone false, let down, double cross, deceive, cheat, all right, sell out, turn traitor, blow the whistle on, rat on, all right. Let me see. Yeah, that's about it, really. It's pretty much just, going against going against one another, being, being a friend to one, and then the next moment you're the enemy, and you see that many times in movies and in uh uh movies, TV shows, like zombie shows and zombie movies, post-apocalyptic movies. You see one that you see in those movies that they betray one another. I remember, well, good example. This one just came to my mind when you brothers have watched that one Purge, the first Purge, where they're on Staten Island, I believe. And there's the Jake. He's like a head Jake. He's pretty much like a gang member. He sells that rock. He sells the rock. He sells that drugs. He makes a lot of money. And in that movie he says, we're not gonna purge. All we gonna do is hold it down. We gonna protect what we have, because when you're a gang member, you're a drug dealer, you have many enemies. And in that time when the first purge was gonna happen, all crime was gonna be legal. So it was gonna be all they were gonna be, whatever people wanted to do, they would not be persecuted for whatever they did. So they could go over and kill that person that they don't like or got beef with, or whatever the case may be, and take them out. So then when after the purge is over, you ain't got to worry about it no more. You can do whatever you want. And then one of his workers was like, man, fuck that, let's purge, man, I want to purge. I want to purge. He's all laughing. And then one of the other, I think it was a chick knocked this nigga out, busted his ass. And then he said, I'm sorry, B, I didn't mean to say all that do. And then later in that movie, he tries to go over and kill his the dude who he works for, man. They was homies, but then after that incident they weren't homies. And that's how it's gonna be in these last days. And it said, let me go back here in the book of Matthew 24:14, or Salakia 10, and it says, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another, and many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, and the love of many shall wax cold. See, so that love in which people have for one another is going to wax cold when all hell breaks loose, when all these things start to come to pass. Okay? And these are the times that we're coming into. Matter of fact, let me grab this. The book of Ecclesiastes. Three and 1. And it says, and then the headline to this chapter is everything in the Most High's own time. And that's right. And the Most High, it's all on his terms. Whenever he wants to have all these things come to pass and come to manifestation, it's up to him. He's the director. He's the guy who is leading the show. He's the orchestrator. All right, reading on. This is the book of Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. And it says, to everything there's a Salaki. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. See, and we're coming in a time where a lot of people, their spirits are going to be required. A lot of people are going to die in these last days, and it's only started. It's only begun. We're just coming to the prelims, the beginning of these things. Okay. It's kind of like when you watch like a boxing, you buy a boxing event or UFC event, they don't get to the fights right away. They don't get to the first fight that's on the card. You have them prelims. You have those fights that, you know, that get you, started for the real event when it really starts. And we're only in the prelims. We're just getting started in these last days. We're just seeing the the things that are gonna happen, the things that are happening. We're seeing, the beginning of it. And how, what we see is gonna get much worse than what it already is. Verse 3, it says a time to kill and a time to heal. And we're coming into times where a lot of people are going to be killing one another, in these last days. They're going to kill one another, man. They're going to see what one has and they don't have it, and they're going to go over and take it from them. And if they have to kill, they're going to kill. All right? Both young, both women, children, whatever the case may be, these people are not going to have pity upon their neighbor, man. And it says a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. In this place, America is breaking down as we speak. It's crumbling right before our eyes, brick by brick, dollar by dollar, body by body, literally, man. And it says, reading on, verse 4, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. And the majority of these people, they're going to be mourning and weeping very much in these days to come for the great evils that are going to be set upon them, sent upon them. Salakia. Verse 5, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away. And we're coming to the times where the majority of you Babylonians, you're going to lose. All right? You're going to lose. All right? And you're going to get, and the only thing that you're going to get is these plagues in which YAHAWASHI is going to send upon the world. The sword, the famine, the death, and the destruction. Much pain and misery is going to come upon the majority of you people. And it says a time to rend and a time to sue, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And we're not living in the times of peace right now. We're living in the times of war. We're not living in the time of love. We're living in the time of hate. And the scripture says in the book of Matthew 24 and 12, the love of many shall wax cold, and it's waxing. Okay? Matter of fact, where's my pocket? Let me grab this real quick. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14 or 15. Salakia. 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. And that's right, woe. All right? That word woe. All right, when you look up that word woe, all right, it's great sorrow, all right, or distress, all right, misery, sorrow, distress, sadness, unhappiness, all right, heartbreaking, all right, just a very gloomy time, suffering time, time of pain, so on and so forth. And the scriptures say, woe unto them that dwell in the world, woe unto all they that dwell in the world, for all the wicked, Reading on, verse 15, it says, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. And that's right. And these people, their sword and their destruction is drawing nigh. It's very near. It's soon to come upon them. And it says, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. And that's right. And that's soon going to happen. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And that's right. And that dude who I had that guy who I had a conversation with, he might desire at the time, things might not be going good to where he lives, his household, and he might have to flee to that place that he was telling me about. And he might desire to go into it, but it might be compromised. It might be seized. It might be, overtaken from someone else or someone or something, and he's gonna be in a tough pickle, man. He's gonna be in a pickle. Now let's say if it's not compromised, there's nothing there. Everything looks nice. Everything looks promising to him. All right. It might not be then, but sooner or later, something's gonna come upon that place where he lives, or where he, his refuge, his fortress. That's how he was bragging about it. Like if this dude had a motherfucking castle or something. And he's not gonna be able to go into it. And if he does, it's gonna be troubled. Okay. Verse 18, it says, "For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled." And that's right. These people's hometowns, the city that they grew up in, it's gonna be troubled. Okay. And it says, "For because of their pride," Salakia, it says, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled." And that's right. And that dude, he was very proud. He had a proud look on him, which I'm not surprised, because these Edomites are they the proudest of them all, But that pride that he has, when all these things come upon this place, that pride that he has is gonna go right out the window. Maybe, because these Edomites are, they're gonna be, they're very proud. You gotta really beat the brakes off of these Edomites to have them not be proud anymore. And that's why you're gonna go into captivity, because we gonna enjoy. All right, we gonna enjoy beating that pride out of you in the kingdom of the Most High, man. When we bash you over the head with a rod of iron, man. Before that happens, you're gonna go through much pain, much trouble before you get to that. And then when you get to that, it's gonna be much worse. When we get our hands upon your necks. Okay? It says, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor." And that's right. And that guy who had a the reason I said dude, because that's what he was saying to me. He's like, "Dude, look at this dude. Hey, dude, you know how Esau is, man. That dude. That's like one of their favorite words out here, man. In Arizona, these Edomites, they be saying, "Hey, dude, what's up, dude?" Anyways, but that dude, man, he's gonna have neighbors that are not gonna have any pity upon him, And it says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." And that's what's coming. The lack of bread and great, all right, ferocious tribulation is going to come upon this place. All right, much cruel tribulation is going to come upon this place. All right. And as I said in the beginning of the video, he said, Salakia, he said, "I'm going to have my friends and my family there." Well, your family is one, but you having your friends there, man, that's going to be trouble. Because when you go to the book of 2nd Ezra, 6th chapter, 24th verse, it talks about how, I'm just gonna read it for you, brothers. This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 24. It says, "At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies." You see? So you might have a friend who he's been cool with since grade school. It could have been since middle school. They could have grown up together from, they mamas could have been best friends and they both had children at the same time, and you guys were raised together, you guys went to each other's houses and you were cool, you grew up, went to school together, this and that. None of that shit's gonna matter in that day, because as it says, at that time, when these times come, all the things of this world is not gonna matter. All right. When you got that saying, desperate times call for desperate measures. And these people, when they have, when they're desperate, when they have nothing to lose, they're gonna do anything to try to obtain something, But reading on 2nd Ezra 6:24, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. See? But friends are gonna be fighting each other like nothing, like nothing, like if they never knew each other, like if they were enemies, as if they were nemesis, like if they one to another they were their arch nemesis, But I'm gonna go ahead and off there through the spirit, just something that was on my, just having that conversation, and it wasn't that much of a long conversation. It was about a minute or two, but just that conversation which I had with that individual, it brought forth this lesson, and it's not gonna go too well for those who, have plans like this, and have to where they're gonna trust in people, because that trust that they have in one another is gonna wax cold. The love that they have for one another is gonna wax cold, and they're gonna fight against one another. They're gonna hate one another. They're gonna betray one another for the lack of bread, for great tribulation that's gonna come upon this place, upon this earth. So with that, brothers, I prayed the lesson was edifying. As always, I want to give all the praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, Ba'ashim YAHAWASHI, Ba'ashim Rakah Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone GMS who taught me this truth, and honors to all the Akim out there that's pushing out this truth with all sincerity and faith. And until the next time I say, brothers, Shalom.